Imagine walking the streets of Barcelona and feeling like you're back in San Diego. It's not just your imagination. California and Spain share more than you imagine, including those notoriously high taxes. And California with Spain is just one of 15 surprising pairs we've discovered. What would it feel like to move from Dearborn, Michigan to Malmo, Sweden, and barely notice a difference in your neighborhood? Or which European nation offers the same lifestyle as Florida, but with an extra charm and lower prices? So let's find your state's European twin. And we start with California and its Mediterranean counterpart. Have you ever noticed how the palm trees in Valencia look strangely familiar to those in Santa Monica? It's not just the trees. California and Spain share a Human Development Index that is almost identical. California comes at 0.935, while Spain sits at 0.911. Remember that the HDI considers education, income, and longevity, so we have similarities in these three aspects at once. Both California and Spain build their reputations on spectacular coastlines that attract millions of visitors each year. The wine regions tell a similar story. California's Napa Valley and Spain's Rioja region have become global wine destinations. Both areas produce world-class wines that attract tourists, contribute significantly to their local economies, and are cultural institutions that reflect centuries of agricultural tradition. Even the climate patterns match with surprising precision. California maintains an average temperature of about 18 Celsius, with 380 millimeters of rainfall annually. Spain follows closely with an average of 16 Celsius. You can convert to Fahrenheit, and around 450 millimeters of rainfall. This shared Mediterranean climate creates similar growing conditions for agriculture and fosters a lifestyle centered around outdoor activities. The tech scene represents another striking parallel. While California has Silicon Valley, Spain has developed its own tech hub in Barcelona. Both regions have leveraged their pleasant climates to draw tech talent. There are also shared challenges. Both struggle with high taxes, water management issues in their dry areas, and rising housing costs in major cities like San Francisco and Barcelona. For Californians concerned about culture shock when moving to Europe, Spain offers perhaps the most seamless transition possible. One notable difference, however, is safety. While California struggles with crime in certain urban areas, Spain generally maintains lower crime rates. Adding Spain's affordable healthcare system, and you have a compelling case for Californians looking to make a European move. So if you walk through a Spanish plaza someday, surrounded by palm trees and sunshine, don't be surprised if it feels strangely like home, but do not expect to find an In-N-Out nearby. The next comparison is probably the most unexpected in this list, but data suggests it makes a lot of sense. But before we review it, I have some really good news. My Expat Wealth and Lifestyle Compass, valued at $180, is yours free for a limited time. Receive our 74-page analysis of affordable cities in Spain, Italy, and France, our guide for zero-income tax countries that easily can save you up to $15,600, and the checklist that prevents costly mistakes. Don't let your chances go away. Scan this QR code now and join us for free. Texas and the Hexagon. What if I told you the fiercely independent spirit of Texas has a European counterpart in France? Yes, France. Both Texas and France carry immense pride in their unique identity and history. Texans celebrate their Lone Star heritage and independent spirit, while the French takes equal pride in their singular cultural identity and historical significance. Both are economic powerhouses with mixed landscapes that range from coastal areas to inland terrain, and both have huge, sparsely inhabited regions. The emptiness of West Texas is quite comparable to the empty diagonal of France. The energy sector reveals another fascinating parallel. Texas leads in oil production, while France has an extensive nuclear energy program. While Texans enjoy lower gasoline prices, the French have some of the lowest electricity prices in Europe. Different approaches, but both regions are energy leaders in their own right. Even the urban-rural mix creates similar living patterns. Houston, like Paris, serves as a hub for culture, commerce, and innovation. And, at the risk of receiving some angry comments from both Texans and the French, both cities have a bad reputation regarding crime. And despite the economic dominance of these larger cities, both Texas and France also maintain strong rural traditions alongside their urban centers. And small town Texas is as different from Houston as small town France is from Paris. The food culture might be the most surprising connection. While the specific dishes, differ dramatically, the French appreciation for long meals, regional specialties, and culinary traditions mirrors the Texan approach for food. There are, however, two big differences: healthcare and taxes, but that is a subject for another video. Florida and a very charming peninsula. It is summer, and you are sipping coffee at a waterfront cafe. The sun warms your skin, boats bobbing in the harbor. Are you in Naples, Florida, or Naples, Italy? Florida and Italy share more than just a peninsula geography. Both regions stretch into warm waters, Florida between the Gulf of Mexico or America and the Atlantic, and Italy into the Mediterranean. Despite vastly different stories, Florida's recent development versus Italy's millennial civilization both have built economies heavily reliant on tourism. Florida attracts millions of visitors to its theme parks and beaches. Walt Disney World alone draws over 20 million visitors annually. Similarly, Italy welcomes tourists to its historical sites and Mediterranean coastline. The Amalfi Coast, the Sicilian island, and Rome, the Eternal City, create an irresistible pull for travelers worldwide. The demographic patterns show another striking similarity. Both regions feature large retirement communities. The climate creates yet another parallel. Florida maintains an average temperature of about 24 Celsius. Southern Italy, Mediterranean weather, mirrors this pattern with hot summers and mild winters. In both places you can survive speaking just a Romance language, Italian in Italy and Spanish in Florida. And both places are prone to natural disasters. Florida with its hurricanes and Italy with earthquakes. After 8 years living in Europe, Italy is one of my favorite places, and everything there feels healthier. And a bit slower too, for good or bad bureaucracy. I made an entire video talking about Tuscany in Italy, so check it later. New York and the Old York, urban powerhouses with global influence. I started this comparison by stating one impression I had. South Manhattan looks quite similar to Canary Wharf. Too similar. The glass skyscrapers, the busy professionals rushing through the streets, even the way the light reflects off the glass of the buildings and during the sunset. Similarities do not stop there. New York and the United Kingdom share remarkably similar HDI scores, 0931 and 929. These regions have evolved as financial and cultural capitals on opposite sides of the Atlantic, yet they function almost like mirror images. Wall Street and the City of London serve as nerve centers of global finance, and beyond finance, both regions drive cultural trends that ripple across the globe. Broadway and the West End set the standard for theater, and the fashion scenes in both New York and London influence what people wear from Tokyo to São Paulo. The population patterns create another parallel. Both have hyper-dense urban centers where space comes at an incredible premium, and Manhattan's packed streets find their match in London's crowded neighborhoods. But travel just an hour outside these urban cores, and you'll find yourself in much more relaxed environments. Upstate New York, with its mountains and valleys, shares similarities with the English countryside, the Old York. New York's diversity mirrors the UK's multi-ethnic society. Both places have received immigrants from around the world for generations, and you can hear dozens of languages on a single subway, or should I say tube ride. This diversity also brings challenges, with both regions experiencing some ethnic tensions. Perhaps the most painful similarity is the housing market. Try finding an affordable apartment in Manhattan or London, and you'll quickly understand why housing costs dominate local politics in both places. And by the way, since we're talking about high costs, if you're watching this video, you may be planning to move abroad to live better, save money, and cut taxes. I've written 3 top-rated books on living abroad. You can find them by scanning this QR code on your screen. Pennsylvania and Germany. Those two share industrial histories that have shaped not just their economies, but their entire cultural identities. When you look at old steel towns in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, you can see echoes of the Ruhr Valley in Germany. Both regions grew into manufacturing giants during the Industrial Revolution and have since transformed themselves. These regions followed remarkably similar paths from manufacturing powerhouse to modern economies. Pennsylvania once dominated steel production, but has since expanded into healthcare, education, and technology. Similarly, Germany transitioned from traditional manufacturing to become a leader in advanced manufacturing and technology. The urban-rural balance in both regions creates another parallel. Pennsylvania features urban centers like Philadelphia and Pittsburgh, surrounded by beautiful countryside and smaller towns. Germany follows the same pattern with major cities like Berlin and Munich, alongside the small villages and rural landscapes. Pennsylvania's significant German heritage is also evident with the Amish communities preserving German dialects and even some food traditions. There are challenges too. Both have cities where drug abuse remains a significant issue. Philadelphia's struggles with addiction parallel similar issues in part of Berlin. Even the seasonal changes feel similar. Both regions experience 4 distinct seasons with beautiful autumn colors. The comparable HDI scores, Pennsylvania at 928 and Germany at 950, confirm the similar quality of life these regions offer. The biggest difference is in terms of safety. Pennsylvania is way less safe than Germany, and in almost every statistic, Pennsylvania has numbers showing 6 to 10 times more violent crime. Illinois and the Czech Republic. Some people might disagree with me here and say that instead, Poland is a much better comparison to this state, since almost 1 million people with Polish roots live in Illinois. But Poland is not a good comparison because Illinois is a very urbanized state, and Poland is the opposite. 40% of the Polish population lives in rural zones. The Czech Republic, in this and many other aspects, is way more similar. Besides the high urbanization, the topography and climate of the Czech Republic are closer to Illinois. Illinois has about 86.9% of its population live in urban areas, where the Czech Republic has around 75%. They also center around powerful urban cores, Chicago and Prague, that shape the identity of their entire regions. When you look at Chicago and Prague, you see 2 cities that pretty much run their states. Both serve as major transportation hubs for their regions, connecting multiple transportation networks. In the same fashion that Chicago is more famous than Illinois, Prague is better known than the Czech Republic. Additionally, both Illinois and the Czech Republic have transformed their economies in similar ways. What were once industrial powerhouses have evolved into diverse economic models, including technology, finance, and services. Even the population sizes are comparable. Illinois has about 12.7 million residents, while the Czech Republic has around 10.5 million. The 4-season climate in both regions creates similar seasonal rhythms and outdoor activities. Their central locations, Illinois in the heart of America and the Czech Republic in the center of Europe, have made both places a center where multiple influences blend. Now, Ohio and Romania. Ohio's journey from manufacturing decline to revitalization mirrors Romania's post-communistic transformation. Ohio's score 0.892 on the Human Development Index, while Romania comes with 0.821, numbers that reflect comparable quality of life despite their geographic distance. Both regions have weathered major economic transitions. Ohio's industrial cities like Cleveland and Cincinnati once dominated manufacturing but faced a decline as industries shifted overseas. The Rust Belt nickname captures this painful transition. Similarly, Romania underwent massive economic restructuring after the fall of communism in 1989. Its industrial centers, built during the communist era, faced similar challenges adapting to the global market economy. Just like Ohio, Romania became rusty. What's interesting is how both places are finding new paths forward. Ohio has diversified into healthcare, technology, and education sectors. Romania has followed a parallel track, transitioning from a central planned economy to a market-based system with growing technology sectors in cities like Cluj. And they also have one of the fastest average internet speeds in the world. The landscape similarities are striking too. Ohio features a mix of industrial cities, alongside natural attractions like Hocking Hills and the shores of Lake Erie. Romania offers a similar contrast between industrial centers and the natural beauty, with the Carpathian Mountains and forests covering about a third of the country. A major advantage of both regions is affordability. The cost of living in Ohio remains lower than coastal American states, offering reasonable housing prices. Romania similarly provides more affordable living compared to Western European countries. Lake Erie supports Ohio tourism and fish industries, while Romania's 245 kilometers of Black Sea coast drive significant tourism. Georgia and Bulgaria. Check these 2 pictures. Do they look similar to you? Because they look tremendously similar to me, despite one being in Georgia and the other in Bulgaria. Georgia and Bulgaria share geographic features that create an almost uncanny resemblance. Georgia has the Blue Ridge Mountains in the north and the Atlantic coastline to the east. Bulgaria offers the Balkan Mountains and its Black Sea coast. The weather patterns also match closely. The cost of living in both regions offers another striking similarity too. Both Georgia and Bulgaria are relatively inexpensive when compared to the USA, average, and the EU. And another similarity is that Bulgaria have one of the highest obesity percentages in Europe, while Georgia is one of the most obese states in the US. Michigan and Sweden. Michigan and Sweden share population sizes that are remarkably similar, Michigan with 10.2 million and Sweden with about 10.7 million people. They also have similar topography. If you look at Michigan on a map, you notice the Great Lakes surrounding it, creating a landscape filled with water and forests. This environment closely mirrors Sweden's geography with its numerous lakes and extensive woodlands. The climate patterns align almost perfectly too. Michigan and Sweden experience 4 distinct seasons with cold, snowy winters that transition into mild, pleasant summers. Both regions also share industrial backgrounds, particularly in automotive manufacturing. And here is where things get a bit more curious and risky. Historically, both Sweden and Michigan enjoyed periods of prosperity. Michigan was a powerhouse of the American automotive industry, with Detroit as its crown jewel in the mid-20th century, generating wealth through companies like Ford and General Motors. Similarly, Sweden's industrial boom, driven by companies like Volvo and Ericsson, made it one of Europe's wealthiest nations. However, both have faced economic decline. Michigan's auto industry crumbled under global competition and deindustrialization, leading to population loss. Detroit's population fell from 1.8 million in 1950 to 639,000 by 2020. Sweden, while still affluent, has seen stagnation in its welfare state model, with GDP per capita growth slowing. Urban decay marks both regions. Detroit and Malmo, Sweden's third largest city, grapple with high crime rates. Detroit violent crime was 2007 per 100,000 people in 2021, among the highest in the US. Malmo's crime rate, while lower, is still significant for Sweden, with 1,802 violent crimes per 100,000 in 2022. Washington and Norway. Washington and Norway share strikingly similar HDI scores, Washington at 952 and Norway at 961. They represent some of the highest quality of life ratings in their respective regions and reveal how these two areas have developed above their neighboring states and countries. Despite being separated by an ocean and a continent, Washington and Norway have created parallel economies and lifestyles shaped by their similar geography and climate. Both regions feature dramatic coastlines that wind along cold northern waters. Their mountain ranges, the Cascades in Washington and various ranges through Norway, create stunning backdrops and opportunities for outdoor activities. Their economies show another striking similarity. Washington has become a tech powerhouse with companies like Microsoft and Amazon, while Norway has focused on innovation in areas like renewable energy. Just like Norway, the bulk of electricity in Washington is from hydroelectric sources. The two face high costs of living in their major cities. Seattle's median home prices hover around $800,000, while Oslo's reach about $700,000. The rain creates yet another connection. Washington's rainy climate is legendary, creating those lush green environments. Norway's precipitation patterns, particularly along its western coast, create a similarly verdant landscape, and during winter, both turn white. The rainy, overcast climate and the small amount of sunlight during winter also contribute to high rates of seasonal affective disorder. Between 10 to 20% of Washingtonians experience sad symptoms, comparable to the 15 to 20% of Norwegians affected by similar condition. For Washingtonians, considering a move abroad, Norway would feel likely comfortable. And those dark winter days, well, Washingtonians are probably already used to that too. Colorado and Switzerland. Both Colorado and Switzerland feature spectacular mountain ranges that have become central to their economies and identities. The Rocky Mountains in Colorado and the Alps in Switzerland have created robust tourist industries centered around skiing, hiking, and mountain biking. Both are also landlocked, something that also influenced their economic profiles. Instead of ports, Colorado and Switzerland developed a robust airport connectivity to their neighbors. Colorado's focus on outdoor recreation, healthy living, and work-life balance mirror Swiss cultural values. The HDI scores reflect these similarities. Colorado at 952 and Switzerland at 967, both among the highest in their respective regions. These regions also share similar challenges. Traffic congestions in mountain corridors create significant problems in both places. Key routes like E70 in Colorado and Alpine passes in Switzerland face severe bottlenecks, especially during peak tourist season, frustrating both locals and visitors. Both areas experience a brain drain in smaller communities. While tech hubs in Denver, Boulder, and Zurich, Geneva attract talent and investment, rural towns in both struggle with population decline and aging demographics. Another striking similarity is the development of exclusive playgrounds for the wealthy. Aspen in Colorado and Zermatt in Switzerland have transformed from mountain villages into international destinations for the ultra-wealthy. These towns often struggle with overcrowding and maintaining authentic local culture. I think the biggest difference here is the fact that you can enjoy Switzerland and its scenic views looking through the windows of a train, instead of a Chevrolet Silverado. Alabama and Albania. Alabama and Albania share more than just similar sounding names. They have parallel development patterns and cultural values that make them surprisingly comparable. Both regions enjoy warm summers and mild winters, creating similar seasonal rhythms that influence daily life. Alabama's Gulf Coast mirrors Albania's Adriatic shoreline, while the inland areas of both regions feature rolling hills, mountain ranges, and some quite isolated communities. Also, family and deep community connections form the center of social life in both Alabama and Albania. The importance of hospitality also stands out in both cultures. Welcoming guests is considered essential. In economic terms, Alabama offers a low cost of living compared to many U.S. states. Similarly, Albania provides affordability within the European context. Both regions face infrastructure challenges. Rural Alabama struggles with crumbling roads and outdated transportation networks. Albania deals with inconsistent power grids and similar infrastructure issues, particularly in less developed areas. Alabama and Albania also struggle with the more prosperous neighbors, creating a brain drain that affects local economies and communities, who lose a big share of its qualified members. Tourist development offers a path forward for both regions. Alabama is working to attract visitors to its beaches and other natural areas. Albania follows a similar strategy, promoting its coastline, mountains, and cultural heritage to international travelers. One significant difference stands out in religious practices. While Alabama ranks among the most religious states in America, with faith playing a central role in community life, Albania is one of the most irreligious places in Europe. Utah and Ireland. Well, here probably you think I went crazy. In terms of terrain and geography, these two are quite different. Utah's arid mountainous terrain support desert and ski-based recreation, whereas Ireland's lush temperate landscape fosters coastal and rural tourism. But they share surprisingly similar population sizes, Utah at 3.5 million and Ireland at 5 million. And the similarities continue in other fields that might surprise you. Both places feature strong community bonds and family-centered cultures. In Utah, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, the Mormons, shapes much of the social landscape, while in Ireland, Catholicism has historically played a similar role. The emphasis on education in both regions has built impressive university systems. Utah has institutions like the Brigham Young University, while Ireland has the famous Trinity College Dublin. Housing affordability has become a significant challenge in both places. Rapid growth has pushed median home prices in Utah to $500,000, while Dublin faced similar pressures, with homes averaging about €350,000. Utahns would likely find Ireland's family orientation, community involvement, and balance of tradition with innovation quite familiar. The biggest difference between them? Alcohol. Utah's strict liquor laws, rooted in religious influence, limited access, and make it one of the states with the smallest pub density in the US. Meanwhile, Ireland's pub culture stands among the most famous worldwide. Puerto Rico and Cyprus. Puerto Rico and Cyprus share island characteristics that has positioned them at important crossroads between different worlds. Puerto Rico bridges American and Hispanic culture, while Cyprus sits between Europe and the Middle East. This geographic positioning has shaped both islands into unique meeting points where different civilizations blend and sometimes clash. Both islands feature warm climates that have naturally led to tourism-centered economies. The beaches and resort areas in both Puerto Rico and Cyprus attract visitors from around the world. Tourism forms the backbone of both economies. What's particularly interesting is how both islands navigate complex political situations. Puerto Rico remains in an unresolved territorial status with the United States. It's neither an state nor an independent nation. Cyprus faces its own division between Greek-speaking and Turkish-speaking regions, creating government tensions that affect daily life. Their heavy reliance on tourism makes both islands vulnerable to global economic shifts. Puerto Rico GDP growth stalled following devastating hurricanes, while Cyprus faced significant challenges recovering from the 2012-2013 banking crisis. Both islands also offer tax advantages that attract certain businesses and individuals. Cyprus has strong incentives for expats looking to pay lower taxes. Infrastructure problems trouble both islands. Puerto Rico struggles with an aging power grid that leads to frequent blackouts, especially after storms. Cyprus faces water shortages that disrupt daily life, particularly during dry summers. Language creates another parallel. Both islands maintain English as a second language alongside their primary tongues. In Puerto Rico, Spanish is the main language, but English is widely spoken due to U.S. ties. In Cyprus, Greek predominates, but English remains common after years as a British protectorate, and some parts of the island still belong to Britain. The main differences are two. First, the cultural backgrounds are very distinct. Puerto Rico identity combines Hispanic heritage with Taino and African influences. Cyprus blends primarily Greek culture with Levantine influences. The second is safety and crime. Puerto Rico is quite dangerous, with an homicide rate of 19.3 per 100,000 residents, while Cyprus has a rate of 0.82 per 100,000 residents. So, in this aspect, Puerto Rico is 23 times more dangerous. Despite these differences, someone from Puerto Rico visiting Cyprus might feel surprising similarities in the pace of life, the challenges of island living, and the experience of existing at the intersection of different worlds and influences. Hawaii and Malta. Despite being in completely different parts of the world, these two archipelagos have a past with some curious similarities. Going back to ancient times, both societies were founded by skilled navigators. The Polynesians who discovered Hawaii were master wayfinders who crossed thousands of miles of open ocean. Similarly, the Phoenicians who settled Malta were renowned Mediterranean sailors. This maritime heritage remains central to both cultures today. Both main islands feature stunning coastal scenery with clear waters and pleasant year-round climates that naturally attract visitors. Honolulu maintains an average temperature of around 25 Celsius with 430 millimeters of rainfall, while Malta's average about 20 Celsius with 550 millimeters of rainfall, both creating ideal conditions for beach activities and water sports. The island lifestyle in both places creates a relaxed pace of life while still providing modern amenities. Cultural celebrations play important roles in both societies. Hawaii's Merry Monarch Festival celebrates hula and native traditions, while Malta's festas honor patron saints with fireworks and processions. Both places even have their own local soft drinks. Hawaii has Aloha Mate, while Malta has Kini, which is, by the way, the best soda I ever tasted in my life. And I'm not even a big fan of sodas. Ethnic tensions exist in both locations too. Hawaii faces ongoing issues between native Hawaiians and mainland transplants over land rights and cultural preservation. Malta experiences friction between locals and growing immigrant communities, particularly from North Africa. Two major differences stand out between Hawaii and Malta. The first is size. Hawaii's larger islands support diverse ecosystems and feel relatively empty in many areas, while Malta's smaller footprint creates a more densely populated, compact lifestyle that can feel crowded. The second difference is cost. Hawaii holds the unfortunate title of most expensive state in the US, even more than California, while Malta has costs below the EU average. In fact, Southern Europe has some cities and towns with incredible weather, huge life expectancy, amazing quality of life, and prices that you would not believe how low they are. And for this reason, I made my most important video ever revealing the best cities to move to in Europe. It's by far our greatest video, and you can watch it by clicking on this icon here on your left. Enjoy my Patreon for the sources, charts, and maps I used. plus a chat so I can answer your questions. Tier 2 includes my top 3 ebooks on living and retiring abroad. Scan the QR code today.